Welcome to the Operation Dominate podcast with your host from Houston, Texas, Chris Martinez, owner of Love My Clean Windows, Love My Clean Roof, helps entrepreneurs through the Copycat Entrepreneur, helps pastors through the Pastor's Marketer, but most of all, a family man who loves his wife and kids. And your other host from Cincinnati, Ohio, myself, Gary Guyman, owner of Pressure Wash Cincinnati, Christmas Light Cincinnati, Guyman Media Group, and godfather of the Marketing Mafia, married to his best friend Jennifer, father to Tyler and Garrett. Let's get ready to dominate. Let's get ready to dominate. What's going on?
What's up?
Chris Martinez, Gary Guyman. We're here to talk about building your dream business. Chris is in Cincinnati and loving the rain that we're having. It's not snow, brother.
It's not. Hey, it actually feels pretty good outside. Hey, look at all those, man. Thank you guys. Dude, it's a lot of hearts, a lot of likes, a lot of love.
I love it.
Mr. Charles Wilson. What's up, dude?
Mr. Wilson in the house. Got Dan Berkey, Bill Opplinger, Carl, Paul, Patricio. Patricio's up in Jersey, I believe. Jeremy Brook, Robert Graham. What's going on, guys? Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah.
For the Operation Dominate podcast. Look, guys, if you have questions, just like yesterday, if you have questions about your business, what I want you to do is put them into the comment. Today, what we're going to talk about is knowing your numbers. So if you have a question about anything related to your numbers, knowing your numbers, we want to talk about this important subject. And the reason why we do is, as you guys know, we help businesses dominate their market, right? We help them dominate their market, and part of that,
even in the snow,
we help them
Isn't that
dominate
pretty cool?
their market. Exactly. We have one customer. He said snow is still on the ground. We're getting him.
He's getting leads.
Now.
That's awesome.
Getting him leads now. So the big thing that we want to know is we want to know the numbers of the company that we're getting ready to work with, and surprisingly, or not surprisingly, really, a lot of people don't know their numbers. When I say they don't know their numbers, like they don't know the specific number, and it's okay initially when you're talking to us to not know that number because you probably haven't been focused on getting to those numbers. But Chris, you know as well as I do, knowing the numbers helps you to be able to engineer success, because we reverse engineer where we got to get.
Yeah.
But knowing those numbers helps you to be able to push one way or the other to get you to that level. What would you say in terms of all the numbers that encompass your business? What's the number one number that you kind of look at
number one
on a daily basis to know if you're driving the right way in the car?
I look at two. Well, there's two.
Okay.
How many leads are coming in, and how many are we closing? Those are the two I look at right there on a consistent base. But I want to back up just a second. In this, the reason why in this, there's three parts of building your dream business. There's identifying, chasing your dream, and then living it. Right now, identifying, you got to know what your dream. When we go to talk to people, it's like, man, I got this huge dream, and it's like, what is it? Man, I just want to do huge things. What is it? Man, I just want to have a huge business. And the thing of it is a huge business to me is different than a huge business to you.
Right.
So it's not. So we even said this here a few weeks ago. You have to be very specific what you're. Okay, the number one thing I think, now I just said that one, but I think you need to have a goal, and a specific goal. Most of the people that we talk to don't even have that, right? They don't even have, hey, dude, in 2018, here's what we hear a lot of. In 2018, I want to do a lot of money. In 2018, I want to do somewhere between 500,000 and $1 million. Yeah. In 2018, I just want to do better than I did last year. And what you're doing is you're setting yourself up for failure. You're actually going in on hopes and wishes. I hope we do better than next year or last year. I wish, I hope, and I wish. And so now that I didn't mean to go out of the way, but there's a reason why we want you guys to know your numbers. It's not just so we can have a topic to talk about, but so that you can literally reverse engineer your goal. If I decide right now, man, I want to go to New York, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to map it out. I'm not just going to hop in my car and start driving, hoping I'm going the right direction. No, I'm going to break out a map. Now you just put it in GPS, but business doesn't have necessarily a GPS. You have to map out your success. You have to map out what you want to do. And part of that's like, okay, I'm in Cincinnati. I need to take highway so-and-so, and then I need to probably get gas 400 miles away. And then you just map out that trip. Well, your business is no different, right? Exactly. You need to map it out. And the way you map it out is by
knowing your numbers. And, I'm a big numbers guy. I hated math in school. But
I am not a numbers guy.
I'm a numbers guy. I think linear. Numbers to me are very important to the business. And I look at a lot of different metrics every day. Like Chris said, leads to me is pretty much the most important metric I look at on a daily basis. Obviously, I want to make money, and I'm looking at money. But you can't just look at the macro and get there. You have to look at the minutia to get there. And leads is where it starts. If you don't have a lead, you don't have an opportunity to get to a customer who's going to give you money to add to that macro number. And leads is the number that I start with when we talk to people, when we take over their marketing. It's about leads. It's not about anything else. And like Chris said, you have to start with a goal, and the goal has to be specific. We hear 450 to 500, or 700 to 800, or like he said, $500,000 to $1 million. Those aren't goals. A goal is like, my goal is I want to lose 50 pounds. By the way, I'm 6 pounds down since I went and saw the doctor, and he threatened me with blood pressure medication. So yeah, it's working. But a goal is specific. You have to have a specific goal, because like Chris said, if you say, I'm going to go to New York, you know you're going to New York. Now, if I say I'm going to the Northeast, well, the Northeast could be New York, Vermont, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Delaware, Massachusetts. I mean, it goes on and on and on. I'm going to New York, right? I want to get $1 million in revenue. So you got to get very specific, and you got to know what your goal is. Next thing after you know your goal, you got to know what your average ticket is.
Yep. CRMs make this really easy, by the way, and it's not. I'm not a numbers guy. I'm not that smart. You probably heard me talk. It's like, I'm not that smart at all. But your CRM can do most of the work for you. You know what I mean? It's not that hard to know this stuff, guys. And if you don't have a CRM, I mean, get one. It's not very much at all. Or use Google. Google has a lot of. I don't know anything about it, but I mean,
you could use a spreadsheet or something like that. But I mean, if you're in the service industry, you can spend, what is customer factor now, $40, $35, $40. I mean,
it's not that much.
It's something, right? Get a CRM, because then it can break out your numbers.
Someone says you guys disappeared. Are we still there? All right,
yeah,
cool.
I'm here. I mean, I'll see it right here. So not knowing what your average ticket is isn't good, number one, and it shouldn't be acceptable to your business. You should know what your average ticket is, because, Chris, if I want to do $1 million and I tell you that my average ticket is $300 when you talk to me, what's the first thing you're going to concentrate on?
How many customers you're going to need to get to that $1 million?
Right. How many customers? And then what are you going to look at with that average ticket at $300 to get to $1 million? I mean, I know what it is. You say, how can we raise that $300 to $500?
Yeah, that's right? A good point. Yeah.
So not knowing what your average ticket is hinders you from being able to diagnose the problem inside of your system.
Matter of fact, when we first found out our average ticket price, I had no clue what my average ticket price was. And when I found out my average ticket price, I was actually upset. I was like, are you kidding me? That's what we're worth? And then what we did, honestly, it was around $240. Today, I'm happy to say our average ticket price from last year was $750. Today, honestly, it's around $1,000. Now, that all started because I knew my average ticket price. If I never would have ever knew that, guess what? I would have settled for the $200-300 jobs. But now this made it so much easier for me to go and actually predict my revenue, right? So some of you already know about our package deals and how we do it. We have one of our packages is at $1,000. So if I get my ticket price from $200 to $300 to $1,000, now in order for me to make a $20,000 a month, all I need to do is sell $1,000 packages. Now I have something to work towards, right? Now I have a goal. Man, $20,000 doesn't seem so hard when you have $1,000 ticket price, but $20,000 seems hard when you have a $200 or $300 ticket price. So it forces you to get creative. It forces you to push towards that goal.
And like you said, having a CRM helps you get these numbers. Without a CRM, you're not going to be able to figure out the number that you need to get to unless you're keeping everything meticulously in a spreadsheet, which would get crazy. So get a CRM.
Yeah.
And I see some questions coming up. We'll get to those in a minute. The last number you need to know. So you need to know what your goal is. You need to know what your ticket price is. And my favorite question, if you had 10 leads today, how many of those would you sell? Right?
People don't know that number.
People don't know this number.
Maybe 5.
Yeah, 7 or 8.
So now, how do you execute the goal without knowing these numbers, right? Now, and this goes back to hoping and wishing. I hope we do 750 this year. Well, how are you going to do that? Man, I'm just going to work really hard. No, dude. Now, if you know your numbers, you can go in there and say, dude, I need 1,000 leads so I can get 500 new customers because my average ticket price is X amount of dollars, and that's how I'm going to make $750,000 this year. Not, I don't know, maybe God will be good, you know? And that, dude, I heard that actually today, man. I heard somebody say, God willing, we hit our goal. And I'm like, oh.
God's willing. God is willing.
God's giving you all your tools. You got to go and put in the work, bro.
It's like people say, I'm going to pray about it. Look, God gives you the direction to do what you need to do. God is willing for you to be successful. I don't need to go ask him that. Hey, God, do you want me to be successful? Yes, I want you to be successful because when his people are successful, then they can take his message.
That's
so
right.
Don't say if God is willing, because God's willing. It's just you're using that as a reason.
We have all the
to
tools. What we're saying is you have all the tools, right? And if you learn these tools, you learn your numbers. They're not hard numbers. I'm not a numbers guy, guys. If you learn these numbers, though, you can literally reverse engineer your goal. And like Michael Covey says, you begin with the end in mind. You can literally say, man, you can feel confident knowing I'm going to hit $750,000 this year.
Absolutely.
I know I can do it.
So Charles asked a good question. How many leads do I need to clear $300,000 this year? So Charles, I don't know what your profit percentage is, but let's just do simple things, right? Let's do simple things. And let's say that your profit percentage is 60%. So if your profit percentage is 60%, that means you're going to do $500,000 in gross revenue, and that's going to give you $300,000 in net profit, right? Which is what he's wanting to know. So we need to find that gross revenue number. So I just found it, $500,000, right? Then, Charles, what we would need to know is, and I think he said it, what your average ticket is. So he's saying his average ticket price is $1,200. So I know that Charles is going to need 400 plus jobs. And because I don't have a calculator sitting right in front of me, we're going to use the number 400. Okay. We're going to use the number 400. Let's say 400. Let's say Charles is a mad salesman, right? You see Charles and you just want to give him money, right? I think so. Don't you think so? So let's say Charles converts 7 out of 10 leads, 70% conversion rate, $400,000, or it's 400 leads he needs with a 70%, or I'm sorry, 400 customers that he needs with a 70% conversion rate. So you take 400, divide it by 0.70. Sebastian, you got your calculator up. 400 divided by 0.70. It's going to be like 570-ish something. That's how many leads he needs. He needs 570-something leads to get to his goal of net profit of $300,000. So, am I right?
Dude's a genius, man.
572? 571. I'm sorry, I was off by 1. 571 leads to get to $500,000, if he has a 60% profit margin, that's $300,000 that he just net, and that's what you have to be able to do. So my suggestion is this: know what your goal is, know what your ticket price is, know what your conversion. Gary, I don't know what it is. Okay, go back into 2017, and you don't even have to go back all 12 months. Pick 3 months. Pick the busiest, pick the slowest, pick a middle, right? So for me, my busiest, I would probably pick May. My middle, I would probably pick September. My slowest, I would probably pick July. So I add up those 3 months revenue times by 4. It's going to give me an average. It's not going to give me exact, but it's going to give me an average. Then I'm going to look at how many customers did I service inside of that 3-month period, and I'm going to times that by 4 to give me my total number of customers. Then I'm going to take the total number, divide my revenue. That's going to give me my average ticket, right? Now your conversion rate, you're going to have to look hard at and be honest with yourself. Yeah. Be honest, because this is the biggest problem. When I ask people if you have 10 leads sitting in front of you, how many of those do you close? My favorite are the ones that say, I close every single one of them. I mean, no you don't, but that's cute. Be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
How many leads turn into sales?
Yeah.
If you're closing every single one of your leads, you got a problem.
Yeah, you're leaving money on the table. You're leaving money on the table. That's right.
Too cheap. A good conversion rate, you should be in that 50 to 70% range. If you're higher than 70, you're too cheap. If you're lower than 50, you either suck at sales or you're too high.
Yeah.
Those are easy things to diagnose. Look, my brother's a mechanic. He's a trained mechanic. So if I say to Jason, hey, this is what's happening to my car, he'll ask me some questions. Is it this? Is it doing this? Is it doing this? And he's able to diagnose what's wrong. So if you come to Chris or myself and you say, this is what's wrong with my business, and I need leads to be able to fix my business, we're going to ask you things related to conversion, related to average ticket, related to marketing sources, so that then we can take that information and then diagnose the problem and fix it. But if you tell us that your conversion rate is 60% and it's really 30%, we're going to be trying to diagnose a problem that isn't the problem.
Yeah, and you're lying to yourself, and you're going to come short on your goal.
Right.
You know, it's like the diet. Like I'm not going to eat the chocolate cake, and no one sees you eating the chocolate cake, but you sneak in there and eat it, right? I mean, it's just you're doing yourself an injustice. You're not doing anybody else anything. So, one number I know that I want to, because I know that for you guys passing out flyers and doing EDDM, a number that you need to know is your response rate. If I pass out 10,000 flyers, and this all comes from data, how many people are going to call me from that, right? If I do 10,000 pieces of EDDM, which we don't suggest you do, but if you do, how many calls can I expect, right? So, if it's 10, zero. Yeah, if it's zero. But for instance, if it's a half a percent response rate, you can expect 50 phone calls, and you can literally reverse engineer. This is how we do it. We'll pass out 100,000 flyers, and we know exactly how many calls we're going to get. We know our average ticket price. We know our close rate. We know how many customers we're going to get. Dude, I can literally say I want to make $20,000 this month, and boom, I already know how many flyers I need to pass out. I can say I want to make $20,000 this month. I know exactly how many impressions I need on Facebook because I know my closing and I know all the numbers that go with it, right? Now you can start to scale. And this is what it's about. So I was talking somebody today talking about they do word of mouth. And word of mouth and referral marketing, that's all we do is word of mouth, referral marketing. That's great, but that's not scalable, right? You can't say, well, I know that 10 people are going to refer me this week. You don't know that. But with numbers, you can literally go back, reverse engineer, and you can start to say, okay, my customer acquisition cost is $50. That way, now I know for every $50 I spend, I'm going to get me a customer. I'm going to make me $500, right? And now you can literally predict your future. And that's what this is all about. Right. Predicting our future. Not hoping, not wishing, not, man, God, please let me hit $750,000 this year. No, now that I know my numbers, I reverse engineer it. I know exactly how many leads I need so I can get those customers so that I can make my $750,000 this year.
And that's what we do on a daily basis. We know that a certain product that we sell, we'll leave it nameless for now. We know 100 link clicks should make us $800.
That's right.
So on my screen up there, what do? We look at how many link clicks we get.
Yeah.
And for every 100, we're cashing that $800 check.
That's right.
And
scalable.
But it's scalable.
It's
right.
scalable.
It's scalable. So
once you have the data, you can predict
scale your business. Exactly right. Exactly right. So let's see. Jeremy Brook asked, "What CRM do you guys use?" He uses Customer Factor. I use Service Monster. I only use Service Monster to route jobs though because I have 4 trucks, and Google Calendar was getting a mess after 2. I used to use just Responsibid and Google Calendar. I had a Service Monster for routing, but I use Responsibid. I'm a Responsibid nut job, and if you ask me anything, I'm going to say Responsibid. So let's see.
Mark Rhodes, you see that one?
Yeah, I do. I did my first job last week for $1,500.
Congratulations, dude! Like your first job was $1,500. That's pretty good for a first job, bro.
Awesome.
I mean,
Awesome.
Congratulations. We're still there. Okay.
Still there?
So I did my first job last week for $1,500. What can I do to make this plan work for me when I do not even have a customer base yet? I'm doing my best to market. Small budget, no customer base yet. Suggestions. The good thing about today is we live in a information world, right? So you have things like Window Cleaning Resource and people like Chris Lamborghini's, man. Here's what I love about the dude is he cares about the window cleaning community, and he actually has data. And you can literally, I mean, there's so many places you can go and ask people. Now, I say that. You got to be careful where you go and what forums you go to because they'll crucify you. But, man, ask questions, dude. Reach out to people like me and Gary. So, Mark, man, reach out, dude. You don't even have a customer base. What am I doing? Dude, reach out to other window cleaners, man. Hey, what's your average ticket price? You know, mine's $200, yours is $400. How are you making yours $400? Dude, what can I do to, and I'm gonna tell you this, Mark, the more you ask people stuff, dude, you're gonna get people that are gonna tear you up.
Give you bad information.
Give you bad information. Yeah. Me and Gary aren't gonna do that.
So you have a limited budget. The first thing you need to do, and I believe Mark does pressure washing.
Okay.
First thing you need to do, Mark, is you need to go to your wherever you're located, whatever state you're in. Go to the Institute of Real Estate Management, IREM.org, and scrape that website for your state's property manager data. You get property manager names and email addresses. And I have a video in the Mafia, and I believe on the YouTube channel, Guyman Media Group, that you can go in and find how to do that exactly, but that is free money. You email those property managers with a simple 5-line email. The subject line needs to say spring cleanup. Hi, I'm Mark. I take care of property managers' problems. Here's the problems I can fix for you. Call me today and let me know what problems need fixing. Simple email. Send it out to the property managers. You're going to get quote requests. You're going to get jobs. And you just spent $0 because you're going to send it on your Gmail one at a time. Look, you either got time or money. And if you don't have money, you got to have time to market. And that's a great way to go get business now without spending any money. Yeah. I gave him one way to not spend any money, and you can get business now. Another way that'll cost you a little bit, it'll cost you just a little bit. I did it today, or I did it this week on Marketing Mondays, was how to produce a lead ad on Facebook. And it's something that you could spend $7 a day as long as you target the homeowners in your area. I would target higher income areas. But you could do a simple ad, you doing a video of yourself. Hey, I clean houses. Here's what I do. Blah, 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 blah. Gain attention. Get their attention. Make sure they're interested. Get their information. Then follow up and do work for them. But look, man, time or money, you got to do one or the other.
Yeah.
And that's
dude, I was telling Gary a story here earlier this morning. A guy reached out to me and was like, dude, I'm about a week away from being evicted. I haven't paid my rent yet. I got $100 in my name. What do you suggest? He doesn't have time to get flyers printed. He doesn't have time to pass them out. I mean, he's literally a week away from losing his house. And I said, bro, what if I were you? And I took him step by step. So this isn't just as easy as what I'm about to tell you, but run a Facebook marketing campaign. I guarantee you, if you do your copy right, your picture right, and your targeting right, you're going to generate leads. Guess what? Dude calls me up a week later. It's like, dude, not only did I pay my rent, bro, I got enough money to pass out some flyers too now. So, I mean, the dude made some money, man. So I can do $100 a month for Facebook, bro. $100 a month in Facebook can bring you in a lot of money, dude. I'm not gonna, if you do it right. Now, you have to do it right, man. And there's so much, dude. Facebook offers free courses. You can go on Facebook Blueprint. Just Google Facebook Blueprint, dude. Take their free courses. You'll get a basic understanding. Get in the Marketing Mafia. I put a video out in there that's I forget what it's called, but it's pretty much my value sell video. We walk you step by step on how to make a Facebook ad and how to get leads. This is exactly the way we do it. So get in the Marketing Mafia, dude. If you don't have very much money, here's one: LinkedIn marketing. My office manager is crushing it. We've only been doing it for 3-4 weeks. I know for a fact she's put in zero money. She's put in about 20 minutes a day, and we've made over $2,000-$3,000 from it already. Right. That's free money. Yeah. That just takes time. And the problem, what I think we see in this, here's the problem: people don't want to spend money to make money, and people don't even want to spend the time. No. It's like they just expect jobs to fall in their lap, and like, well, if Chris can do it, then I can do it, and if Gary can do it, I can do it, and they just, what's going on? And so there's so many tools out there to learn, dude, and you don't have to spend. I mean, me and Gary we're aggressive. We spend a ton of money on marketing because, again, we predict,
we're
right?
Trying to scale business.
Yeah, we're trying to scale. We know for every $50 we throw in our cash machine, we're gonna get money back out of it. So we literally can print money. Here's $50. Here's $200 back. Here goes another $50. Here goes $300-$400 back, right? I mean, and when you start to get that, man, it feels so good, because then you can start to say, man, I never in my life would be like, dude, I want to grow a $10 million business. But once I started to reverse engineer that, $10 million isn't that hard. Right. It's not that hard. It's just duplication after you. If you can do $1,000 once, you can do it 10 times. If you can do 10,000 once, you can do it 10 times. If you can do 100,000 once, you can do it 10 times.
Absolutely. So Bill Oplinger is giving us a math.
Oh, I love it.
Here we go. So he's got 233 current customers. Average ticket is $297. Let's say 300 for easy math. 70% conversion. He gave us his average customer cost, which is $25, which is pretty good. How many leads and how many new customers do I need? That's cute. How many leads and how many new customers do I need to reach my goal of $300,000? So you got 233 current customers, right? Well, to get to $300,000 with a $300 average ticket, you need 1,000 customers. So if we get 1,000 minus 233, we're at 767 customers that you need. If we take that 767 and we divide it by 70%, that means we're probably at about 1,095 leads that you need to get your goal of 300,000. So that means you're going to need to spend, if your cost per acquisition is $75 and you need 767 customers, then you're going to have to spend,
wait, what was it?
It's 767 times 25. So you're going to spend almost 20 grand to get to where you need to be, which, I mean, I'm not in the field of 10% on marketing. I'm in the field of you spend on marketing what you need to spend on marketing to get to your goal. Obviously, less is best, but that's not always going to be the case. I mean, Chris and I, we try to own our markets when it comes to Google, so there's also as much money.
There's also another reason, especially for you window cleaners out there. There's something called the customer lifetime value. I don't mind spending a lot of money up front. Russell Brunson always says it. Amateurs focus on the front end, professionals focus on the back end. I know, right? If I can buy a window cleaning customer and they stick with me for 5 years, dude, marketing budget doesn't matter to me, because I know I'm gonna do my job and nurture that customer, keep that customer, and I know the customer lifetime value. These are all dude, write that number down. Customer lifetime value. Do you know your customer lifetime value? That's a good number to know, because once you know that number, you won't be so scared to spend it in marketing.
Exactly. And I mean, too many times people get caught up in what they need to do to change this number or change that number, or if I tweak this or I tweak that. And trust me, I mean, in terms of engineering that system, that's what Chris and I do. But when you're looking at your business, the thing that you need to be driving, number one, is leads. If you're not driving leads, then I may hurt your feelings if you're not driving leads, but you don't need to be in business. If you can't drive leads, then you don't need to be in business. Mark Cuban, one of the smartest businessmen that I know, because he took a concept and Yahoo bought it, and then when Yahoo bought it, they had buyer's remorse. Yeah. But he was able to make billions of dollars off of it. But he says, one thing cures all, and that's sales. And if you ever watch Shark Tank and you see somebody get into the tank and they're trying to get money to hire salespeople, Mark Cuban will never, ever invest in that entrepreneur, because what he says is you need to be your best salesperson. And what he's saying by that is, he's not saying you need to know how to convert. What he's saying is you need to be your company's evangelist. You need to be preaching the message of your company. And if you can't preach the message of your company, then you got to rethink what it is you're doing. A lot of times, when I've never met someone and we talk to them on the phone, I'll say, tell me about yourself. And the first thing that I hear when we say, tell me about yourself, is I hear a long pause. Get that out of your mindset. You need to be prepared and ready with an elevator pitch to tell people about you, your business, and your life. And look, the more honest and open that you are, the more someone's going to buy into your story. And when they buy into your story, they're going to buy into you. And when they buy into you, they write a check.
That's right.
And that's what we're all here for, is to get paid.
That's right. So man, that's pretty good stuff, man. I ran a Facebook ad following Chris's steps, sent her to the landing page Gary designed, fill out the form. Then I sent her the response bid estimate. She loved the follow-up and ready for a visit and to book. Awesome, boom. Charles. So yeah, man, dude, know your numbers, and the very first number you need to know is how much do you want to make this year? I mean, is that a hard number? It's not. I mean,
but nobody knows it.
Dude, it's really not that hard. I mean, and you can even take it a step further and say, man, like for me, last year we didn't even look at revenue. We looked at profit. And I didn't have a revenue goal last year. We shut off all growth mode last year and went into profit mode. And I said, I want to profit 6 figures this year. And I didn't say 6 figures. I had a specific number that I wanted to profit. And I reverse engineered that, right? I said, okay, in order for us to make this profit, this is what we have to do. And some of that was cutting some expenses, and we cut some of those expenses so that we could do it.
Right.
So, yeah.
So we are helping you dominate, growing your dream business. Hey, tomorrow we'll be back with the final part 3, building your dream business. Don't miss out. It'll be tomorrow morning, because someone's gonna fly home. His arms will be tired. Thanks for hanging out. Operation Dominate Podcast. Chris Martinez, Gary Guyman. Let's dominate.